A good weekend. A great weekend, I guess, comes away with 6 points, but a good weekend to go on the road in conference, especially the way the conference is shaping up this year, and be able to take 3 points away from it. We're relatively pleased, I suppose. Yesterday at ULM, a tough match, very blue-collar team, coming off of what was a pretty lengthy travel schedule for the weekend. And they made it complicated in the first half, and were pretty direct and broke up the rhythm of the game quite a bit. And it took us some time to figure that out and figure ourselves out. Fortunately, a couple of freshmen got on the end of some balls in the box and were able to secure us a 2-0 win. Olivia got her first goal of the year and happened to be a game winner, so super happy about that. Just a ball that came across the face of goal, and she just scrapped and just went to ground to make sure to get it on frame, and obviously beat the keeper with it. And then Mackenzie Lee with the second assist of her season. Not too often you see that from a goalkeeper, but her ability to serve balls is really spectacular, certainly from that goalkeeper position. And so she was able to play a long ball forward and behind to Carlene, who did a great job of just getting herself and keeping position, carrying into the box and finding the far post to tuck it in. Going back to Friday night at Texas State, another very blue-collar team, tremendously athletic, a ton of pace all over the field, in particular up top. And they got us with that. One of the counterattacks that they were able to create in the first half. Kaylee, who's probably one of the most prolific goal scorers in the Sun Belt, certainly at this point, her and Brianna from South Al, but she got in behind and made us pay for it. Mackenzie made a good first save, wasn't able to push the ball wide of frame, and they did a good job of following up and were able to go up 1-0, and we did everything we could. We pushed and we tried to create some different looks and create some different opportunities. We did take a number of shots on the day, but in my mind, none of them were really fantastic shots. We didn't create enough good quality, high quality opportunities. We settled a little bit and weren't able to break them down. So going to their place is a tough place to play. And it was 20-mile-an-hour wind straight down the field, and quite cold, certainly to our bodies and what we're used to here. But those elements, obviously, both teams are playing in it, and a little bit of a tale of two halves in that as well. But like I said, came away with 3 points and put ourselves in position to go to this weekend, our last regular season last regular season away match to Georgia State in Atlanta. Another very important match where it's a team that sits below us currently in the table. But if we don't get to the right end of the results, and they do, certainly can become an equalizer as we start to get nearer to the conference tournament. Right now, 4 points separates 6 or 7 teams, I think, in the table. So at this point, it is very, very, very wide open. I think South have clinched their spot in the Sun Belt tournament with their results over the weekend. But everybody else is still very much in a battle to see, one, who's going to get in, and two, what the seeds are. And like I said last week, our focus is not really there. We've got a match to play on Friday night. We're on the road again. And so we've got to go and take care of business.
What do you feel like you could have done better at Texas State to at least come away with a point?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we're trying to do is we're really trying to develop a bit of an identity with the ball and get our players comfortable in possession, getting them composed under pressure, and to be able to solve some things, not just with direct play, getting the ball forward, but actually solving some of those problems throughout. But what that does sometimes is it puts you in a vulnerable place for counterattacks, and we've seen ourselves subject to some counterattacks over the course of this season, and it's been a little bit of a philosophical decision for us as a staff. How do we want to manage this? Do we really want to incorporate this identity and this style of play and start to create some confidence from our players in doing so, or are we just going to play for results? And what we've really tried to do is try to find a little bit of harmony with those two things. But it was our possession. The goal they scored was our possession entering into the final third. A little bit of a long touch, got tackled away, and then it was just some individual effort that was able to break us open and get in behind. Had we been a little bit more composed in our final third, I think perhaps we maybe could have found the equalizer, but we didn't show a lot of that composure, and we were willing to shoot from distance, shooting from 20 to 25 yards when most goals we know are scored inside the 18-yard box, and just had, for some reason, just had a little bit of reluctancy to go ahead and take that final ball into the box, that final carry, run at that defender, or to play that final little penetrating ball. So part of it's just us growing and understanding that better and doing a better job of implementing those things. We're working on it every day in training. I mean, for the last month, we've been in the 18-yard box really to try to emphasize that point, working on that final ball. And so all we have to assume is it's going to come. It's just when it's going to come, hopefully sooner than later. But it's a really good team. I know that the results this year have been a little bit atypical for them, but it's the same team, and they're very dangerous. And, going on the road to a good team, sometimes you're going to lose those matches. I was proud of the way that our girls played, though. They battled. Although we weren't spectacular from a soccer standpoint, we were spectacular from an effort standpoint. I was really happy with that.
You talked at the end of September about maturity, looking to see your team take those steps. I think you kind of hit on some of that, but have you seen, over your last four, where you're 3-1 compared to being 0-2-2 in the previous four? Have you seen those steps?
Yeah, I think this weekend, for instance, on Sunday, we had a bit of an interesting travel day on Saturday. And we were going into a match on Sunday playing ULM, who are currently at the bottom of the table, and we knew it was we've got to secure 3 points from this result. We just have to secure 3 points. It doesn't matter whether we play spectacular or whether we play awful. We've got to get 3 points out of the match, and that was an exercise for us because, as I told them, if we have ambitions to get into the conference tournament here at the beginning of November, we're going to find ourselves in a situation where that quarterfinal match, it doesn't matter how you play. It's whether you get the result at the end. And so I thought it was a great exercise for us at this time of the year in the middle of October to give us a gauge of what is our maturity like. Can we handle that information? Can we go out and apply that and apply what's necessary to get those 3 points on the day? And they did. They did a good job of it. We didn't play great on Sunday either. We were a little bit disjointed, and I think the field caused us some problems in terms of finding a nice clean rhythm. But they found a way to get the result, and I got into them at halftime about that. I said, "Listen, that we're 45 minutes away from a result that we have to have, and it's 0-0. So we're going to have to find a way to get players who want to get on the end of balls in the box." And I was proud of certainly the two that did it, and there was others that were part of the creation of those. But the maturity is growing, and there are times where it's glaringly evident, and there are times where we're looking for it. We're having to see if where is this maturity right now. But overall, I would say yes, there's an upward trend in that regard, and there needs to be. I mean, in order for us to continue to move towards the Sun Belt tournament, there needs to be some of that continued growth and maturity.
Piggybacking off of that, just from a coach standpoint, rebuilding the program, what has been the pleasant joy of watching these girls just grow, not only in maturity, but in other aspects in the game?
Yeah, on and off the field. I mean, one of the big things that we've done is really emphasize their growth as human beings off the field. I mean, we're 3 books deep in a book club this year, where I've really asked them to start to explore the concept of team, and I've asked them to explore the concept of culture and commitment to each other, and the unity that comes through that, and so there's a lot of that stuff that's going on behind the scenes off the cameras that they're being asked to invest a tremendous amount of time in, and I think there's a correlation between the growth there and the growth on the field. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that they are really investing in each other. Listen, we're imperfect beings, and we're dealing with 29 players on the roster, right? Most people have disagreements with themselves, right? Never mind when you start to add 28 more people to the equation. So there's challenges through communication, and there's challenges through just trying to get everyone on the same page. And so for them to go from where they were to where they are now, just this season, right? I can't really speak a whole lot to last season and the time before that. I wasn't here for that, and like I've said before, in large parts, I think that's irrelevant. What is relevant is from the way that we started in August to where we are right now. There has been tremendous growth. There's been tremendous maturity, and to see them be able to receive the benefits of their work and their commitment has been fantastic. To see the smiles on their faces after we get a result on the road that they know is very meaningful in terms of our postseason participation. that stuff is priceless, you know, and the way that we're going about doing it. It's not as if we're waiting for results to go our way, but we're going out and finding a way to get results to go our way. You know, we've talked about blue-collar work. This weekend was a blue-collar weekend. I mean, two very, very blue-collar, hard-working teams, and our objective is to get white-collar results from blue-collar work, right? And so starting to see that come into play has been fantastic.
This time of year, 2 weeks to go, you start looking elsewhere in the league, who's playing who, how their matches come out, and sort of what that could do in the standings?
A little bit, because it's important for frame of reference. At the same point, if we don't take care of our business, then it really, that becomes irrelevant as well. And so we know that we've got Georgia State on the road on Friday night, and so that's where our focus is. That's where I want our players' focus to be. We've got to, as a staff, make sure that we're prepared this week, that we're preparing our players to go out and compete, and with the information that they need, the relevant information that they need to apply on Friday night. And at the end of the day, that's the only result that we're going to have any influence over. What's the saying? Control the things that you can control and don't worry about the rest. But we know that we have to control the things that are under our control, and that's our performance. It's not even the result, honestly. It's our performance. And that standard that we have, that standard of excellence that we're committing to, is where we have to keep our focus.
How good was it seeing Olivia, a true freshman, get her first goal in the season?
Fantastic. She's one of the most honest, diligent, hardworking young people that I've encountered in a while, and she just genuinely wants the best for her team, for every player on the team. She's as selfless as they come, and to see her take the information at halftime, and really I charged them. I said, someone's got to go out there and be willing to put the ball in the back of the net. And so to watch her just scrap her way through, it wasn't the most beautiful goal. It's not going to make the ESPN top 10, right? But it was a great effort from her, a good bit of build-up played on the left-hand side, and she just did a great job of working to keep it alive, and was able to redirect it on frame. And so, you know, those moments of pride, you know, going back to the earlier question, those moments of pride are pretty priceless.